I reviewed quite the collection of mini PCs in my day, but I don't think any of them have disappointed me quite like this. Today's video is brought to you by me. Check out craftcomputing.store for all of my official merch, and help fund the content that you enjoy watching here on the channel. From custom laser-engraved pint glasses, to coasters and whiskey stones, and even our brand new double-wall insulated coffee tumblers, all of my merch is designed 100% in-house and made to order by me. I'm also now offering flat-rate international shipping to 23 different countries, and if you live in the continental US, free shipping on orders over $35. So, what are you waiting for? Head on over to craftcomputing.store and start drinking like a pro. Cheers, everyone. Welcome back to Craft Computing, everyone. As always, I'm Jeff. So, I'm going to be honest here. I've been avoiding filming this review because I just wasn't a huge fan of this little PC. This is the Khadas Mini, a modular, stackable workstation PC touted to me as a Mac Mini killer. Spec-wise, it's easy to see why they're calling it that. It's rocking an Intel 13th Gen Raptor Lake i5 1340p, 12-core, 16-threaded CPU, putting it on paper, at least, leaps and bounds ahead of both the M1 and M2 powered Mac Minis. Now this is the standard model, which comes equipped with 16GB of DDR5 running at 5200 megatransfers per second, along with a 512GB Gen 4 NVMe drive. For graphics, we've got Intel Iris Xe with 80 execution units and a max clock speed of 1.45 GHz. Unfortunately, Iris isn't exactly the most performant GPU Intel has out right now, but this PC is also produced a little bit too early to get Intel Arc or Meteor Lake, which should start showing up in devices sometime later this year. There's also the Khadas Mind Premium, which upgrades you to an Intel Core i7 1360p CPU, a 92 execution unit Iris Xe graphics processor, 32GB of DDR5, along with a 1TB NVMe drive. One very interesting feature of the Khadas Mind is its internal battery. Yeah, you thought the laptop internals stopped at the CPU? Well, you'd be wrong. There's a built-in 5-watt-hour battery designed to keep the PC in standby while you travel. That's actually enough capacity to keep it powered on for up to 25 hours from point A to point B, or function as a UPS to keep the machine from dying in the event of a power outage. The unit itself is incredibly well built and made entirely from aluminum. Walking around the PC, we've got a power button up front, and that's about it. The sides are dominated by cutouts for fan grills, as well as the built-in stereo speakers. On the underside of the Mind, there's this little flap right here, which lifts up to reveal a 2230 Gen 3 M.2 slot, should you want to add some additional storage. Thanks to the Steam Deck now, there are also a ton of options for 2TB drives on the market in that form factor. Inside the system, there is a drive that ships with it in an M.2 Gen 4 slot, but that slot is also only a 2230 size, meaning if you wanted to upgrade the internal storage, it's going to be significantly more expensive than a traditional 2280 drive. But in theory, you could install up to 4TB between the two available slots. One last physical feature to talk about is the docking port, also called the Mind Link here on the bottom of the PC. It allows the PC to serve as the brain to a variety of modular components. Here I've got the Mind Dock, a $180 docking station that adds 2 additional USB Type-A ports, a pair of HDMI 2.0 outputs, and an additional Type-C 10GB port. The reason most people are going to want this, though, is the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, as the base unit only has Wi-Fi for its network connectivity. The dock also adds a couple features that I thought should have been included in the base PC, and that is an SD card reader and a 3.5mm audio jack. There's also a couple other quality of life items added in here as well, like the fingerprint scanner over here on the left-hand side, as well as a volume jog dial over here on the right. There are also a number of other docking station options, like a GPU docking station available for about $1,000, which adds in an NVIDIA RTX 4060 Ti, giving you your mini PC desktop-class graphics for gaming or professional work. Khadas has also teased the idea of a studio display dock, which adds a professional monitor and stand, as well as a tablet PC dock, giving you a touchscreen and the ability to use the Mind on the go. Though I will note neither the studio display nor the tablet model are available on their website, and have really only appeared in promotional videos. So that is the Khadas Mind, a svelte and sleek mini PC that's powerful, expandable, portable, and customizable. So why do I dislike it so much? For starters, when I hear something touted as a workstation, I expect certain features and criteria to be geared towards professionals, and both of those revolve around longevity. If I'm buying a workstation today, I need it to fit my needs not only right now, but typically at least a couple of years into the future, so future upgradability is a must. While we have expandable storage, again, using a pair of M.2 2230 slots, when it comes to memory, it's all soldered down to the board. So the standard model we have here is going to be stuck at 16 gigabytes for all eternity. The standard model also sells for $799 on Khadas' website, and the only option for upgrading memory is to jump up to the Mind Premium, which is $300 more. I mean, for $1,100, you do get an upgrade to a Core i7 and a 1TB storage drive in that higher price tier. But both of these CPUs have the same 4 performance and 8 efficiency cores from the same generation. And as we'll find out shortly, they don't even run at their full potential. Hashtag spoiler alert. These Raptor Lake CPUs also support up to 96 gigabytes of memory, but again, since they're all soldered down, your choices are limited to either 16 or 32 gigabytes, and that's all you're ever going to get. The second piece of longevity is just general maintenance, and while it is possible to take this thing apart, all of the screws are underneath this rubber foot, and I watched ETA Prime's review of this PC, and these are held on here by some pretty good adhesive. It's not exactly designed to be user serviceable. I hate when companies make sealed PCs for the sake of aesthetics. This is designed to be tossed into a backpack and carried from one docking station to the next. It's gonna need to be cleaned out every once in a while if you want to make it live for more than 2 or 3 years. Why not just give us access under this bottom panel so we can blow the fan out? It makes no sense to me. But memory and maintenance aside, if 16 or 32 gigabytes of memory fits your needs, maybe the Raptor Lake CPUs will have enough power to keep you happy. I mean, they are capable of 65 watts at full turbo speeds, and the 1340p has a 4.6 GHz turbo, with the 1360 good for 5 GHz. However, the Khadas Mind seems to have its CPU limited to just 35 watts, only slightly above its base TDP of 28 watts. That means the CPU will basically never see its full potential in turbo speeds. Now, while I did observe the 4.6 GHz boost in single-threaded tests, that single thread consumed nearly 18 watts of power by itself. That means whenever you have even slightly multi-threaded workloads, you're going to be limited to that 35-watt TDP, and the CPU cores operate much closer to their base clock speeds at that power limit. In practice, that means that if you only have a single-threaded task running, this will compete in speeds up near modern desktop CPUs, so long as you're under that 35-watt cap. Multi-threaded performance, though, we're seeing scores more on par with 8th generation Intel parts and 1st generation Ryzen. Not exactly the company you want to be associated with as a workstation PC in 2024. For comparison, I've done quite a bit of testing on Intel's 11th gen Tiger Lake CPUs, and at 45 watts of power, I'm seeing multi-threaded scores 50% higher than the 1340p inside of the Mind. I know Raptor Lake is both faster and more efficient than Tiger Lake, but without the ability to actually boost its clock speed, the Mind is left in the dust by similarly spec'd PCs that are more than 3 years old. And yet somehow, it gets worse. While the Khadas Mind was able to keep the CPU in check at about 75 degrees Celsius during all of my testing, this is one loud little box. I can't remember the last time I tested a mini PC that wasn't basically silent in all but its most strenuous of tests. But the Khadas Mind's fan is always audible and downright annoying under even the slightest amount of workload. All of this would be pretty inconsequential though if the price was right. When the Khadas Mind was sent over to me, they had the standard listed at $599 on Kickstarter, with the docking station for $130. And heck, you could even get the Mind Premium and the 4060 Ti graphics stock for under $1,000. But if it wasn't obvious, pretty much all of the prices increased by a pretty dramatic amount. The Khadas Mind Standard is now $799, or a full 33% more. The Khadas Mind Premium increased from $799 to $1,100. The 4060 Ti graphics stock increased from who knows what it was originally to $1,000 by itself. That means while you could get the 4060 Ti and the Premium for $1,500, those are now $2,100 for the package. The idea behind the Khadas Mind ecosystem is portability and expandability. The ability to take one of your Mind brain units with you, plug it into a docking station, and start working wherever you sit down. But hear me out, there's a form factor that already offers that, and it doesn't require a docking station where you're going to be sitting down at, nor do you have to carry your own keyboard, mouse, and monitor to where you're going. It's basically why laptops exist. At $799 just for the Mind Standard, it loses basically all of its potential value. While again, it is a very well-built PC and it is very aesthetically pleasing, that pushes the price tag right up against laptops with the same or even better specs. Take this Lenovo Slim 7. It has the same Intel i5 1340p, 16GB of DDR5 memory, but also includes a 1TB NVMe drive. In addition to the PC specs, it also has a 14-inch 2880 by 1800 120Hz IPS touchscreen display, a fingerprint reader, keyboard, trackpad, webcam, Thunderbolt 4, and a battery that can actually power the PC for more than 10 minutes at a time. It's the same PC, the same performance, but in a package that actually makes sense if you're looking for a portable computer. And the Lenovo costs just $40 more than the Khadas Mind. Now, I've been very critical of mini PC marketing and the idea of portability for a long time, especially those that offer laptop comparable specs and expansion and include their own little tote bags while bringing nothing else to the table. And coming back to the concept of the Khadas Mind as a workstation, while it does offer a docking station with 2.5 gigabit Ethernet or even an RTX 4060 Ti, those options are all through proprietary docking connectors, and you may never get any other compatible devices to expand on with later. To expand with later on. There we go. Now, the Mind is the first of its kind from Khadas. While they've produced some very nice hardware over the years, the majority of it was with single-board ARM-powered PCs and GPIO accessories. For example, they have the Edge 2, which was powered by an RK3588S and was a fantastic SBC. But with the Mind being the first-generation product that it is, with a brand new ecosystem of devices, it gives me no assurance that Khadas will be developing any additional products for it in the future. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the build quality of the Khadas Mind. An all-aluminum mini PC rocking an Intel i5 1340p in one of the smallest form factors imaginable. But priced at $799, and with no real expandability, and a docking station ecosystem with no track record to speak of, I have a really hard time recommending this to anyone over a moderately well-equipped laptop. If the Mind swapped out its proprietary docking connector for, say, Thunderbolt 4, or even better, an Oculink connector for its docking expansion, that means even if Khadas themselves goes completely bankrupt and never produces another product, you wouldn't be stuck with a glorified paperweight on your desk 2 years from now. But even expandability concerns aside, the small form factor also comes with limited TDP support, and the performance of these Raptor Lake CPUs inside also suffer quite a bit at just 35 watts. So how much is that 35 watt limit hurting it? Well, last week I took a look at this, the Ioneo's Retro Mini PC powered by a 35 watt Ryzen 7 5700U. It's a PC that, when equipped with 16GB of DDR4 and a 512GB Gen 4 NVMe drive, costs just $360 right now. At the same exact TDP, we've got virtually identical multi-threaded scores in Cinebench R15 and R23 both. The Ryzen 5700U single-threaded performance was slightly lower than the i5, but again, unless you're only driving single-threaded workloads, the CPUs are going to perform basically identically to one another. This is a PC costing less than half as much, and I know it's a little bit bigger, and I know it's not going to fit in a handbag quite as well. But add in the fact that the Retro Mini memory isn't soldered directly to the motherboard, it has a full M.2 2280 Gen 4 slot, meaning 4TB modules are actually less expensive than the cost of a single 2TB 2230 drive, and you get Ethernet built in rather than having to add it as a docking station feature for an extra $180. If workstation performance is what you're after, the Khadas Mind has some of the most lackluster speeds I've ever seen out of a Raptor Lake-based PC. Expandability is either impossible thanks to soldered-on components or a lack of user access, or exorbitantly expensive thanks to the use of 2230 M.2 slots or Khadas' proprietary docking system. I've never, in my professional or personal life, ever met someone who would rather purchase a mini PC over a laptop with the same specs at the same price. The Mind is a product looking for a use case rather than the other way around. And while it does have good hardware, good construction quality, and outstanding good looks, that's not enough to make it worth your money. If you think I'm completely off my rocker, please let me know down in the comments. But this one is just a miss for me. I will have links to other mini PCs as well as the Khadas Mind down in the video description if you'd like to take a look at any of them on their retail sites. Some of those will be affiliate links. Please go give those a look. On your way down there, make sure to drop this video a like and subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Follow me on the social medias at Craft Computing, and if you like the content you see on this channel and want to help support me in what I do, consider going over to my Patreon. Link is also down in the video description and helps keep the lights on around here. That's going to do it for me in this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys. Don't let this fool you. This one was really good. So, the last beer that I tried from 10 Barrel left a lot to be desired, so I figured I'd try the Hops and Brews glass to see if my luck changes. From 10 Barrel Brewing, this is the Always Down Hopburst Double IPA, clocking in at 9%. This is a fantastic pint glass. I wonder who makes these. Alright, so the Always Down Hopburst Double IPA. I've been sipping on this for a little while now, and I will say this is ever the IPA for sipping on. This is not one you're going to take down in chugs. This is not one that you're going to really enjoy after a hot summer day. Despite the almost crystal clear body, this is a thick, chewy IPA. These are the types of IPAs that I like to get at tap houses because I'm happy after just one beer. I don't want to drink more than this. I don't feel empty after drinking this beer. This is the beer that doesn't require food. This is the beer that you buy instead of food. For as bold as this one is right up front, the aromatics on it are super muted. Like, you can smell a little bit of hop, but no more than, like, an all-day IPA. The flavor really does sneak up on you. I think what I like most about this beer, also, is it's a super strong hop flavor. But it doesn't have that typical thick IPA, oily mouthfeel when you're done. It's not clinging to my tongue. It's actually a little bit drying, which in such a thick body beer is kind of a weird experience. I usually expect dry IPAs to be some of the more refreshing and bright ones. This one's super heavy, but leaves me wanting a little bit more. But I definitely don't want any food with it. Hope that makes sense.